What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sportsgasm Podcast, the podcast by the fans, for the fans, because as you know, we believe that we are the most qualified people to talk about our favorite teams. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
And I'm Kylee.
And first, apologies. You may have noticed that this is the first episode in about a week because we took a week off due to scheduling conflicts. We're busy people. We both work multiple jobs. And, I work multiple jobs. Kylie's finishing up college. So sometimes the scheduling doesn't always work out. And when that happens, yeah, we gotta look, regardless, at the end of the day, this is episode 11. We're finally back.
We're back.
Kylie, before we begin talking about all the stuff we missed, all of the MLB trade stuff, off-season news in the NFL, the NHL trade deadline, and basketball getting crazy. Kylie, how'd your bracket do?
My bracket got screwed up. I had Gonzaga winning it all, and yeah.
Did you make one
Peter's,
for the... Okay, go ahead.
St. Peter's made the Elite Eight?
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened.
15 seed made the Elite Eight? Like, what?
That's why I love March Madness. St. Peter's, by the way, shout out to them. I love it when schools with really unique mascot names get national attention.
I know.
Like when UMBC beat Virginia, it was the Retrievers. Now it's the Peacocks. It's always the small schools that have the coolest mascot names because they're like, we have to stand out. We can't have anything boring like Hawks or Cougars or Lions. We got to go wild.
But that women's bracket, you got UConn in the Final Four. Becker's going crazy.
I gotta say the Final Fours for this year's both of this year's tournaments are really, really good.
We have UNC and Duke for a third matchup
so
this year. Can't wait.
No matter what happens in that game, Coach K is going to lose. Okay, you beat Carolina, you get to the championship game. Well, you couldn't beat Carolina in your final game at Cameron. You lose to Carolina. Damn, your final regular season game and your final tournament game, you both lost to Carolina.
Yeah,
it's a lose-lose situation. But no, it's an incredible Final Four. UNC, Duke, Kansas, Villanova, blue bloods of the sport. And in the women's tournament, hang on a second.
Yeah, I know UConn women are in it.
It's going to be UConn, Louisville, Stanford, South Carolina. So you have two established powers of women's basketball, the new kids on the block in Stanford, and then South Carolina, who's just killing everybody.
Stanford recently won, though. They're dangerous.
Yeah, they're the defending champs, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So you have the defending champs. You have the new kids on the block in South Carolina who have been the new power. You have Louisville and UConn who have always been great. So you got four tournament. You got 8 teams in the final four in these two tournaments who are all blue bloods of the sport. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait. As a Philly fan, I got to go with Nova. But Jordan fan, I'll be okay with UNC. And I love Paige Becker, so I'm going for UConn.
I will go for UConn to win it all in the women's tournament. And then for the men's, let's go Carolina. My dad was covering. When my dad was a journalist, he was living in Chapel Hill. He was covering the Tar Heels when Jordan was there.
So cool.
I was almost Jordan. I was almost named Jordan. So I got to
really?
Go. Yeah. No, literally. My parents had a whole talk about how my dad's like, we have to name him Jordan. Because my dad was a huge Michael Jordan fan. He loved the Bulls. And he's like, our first child is going to be a Jordan. And my mom was like, no, we're naming him after your grandfather. We're not naming him after some guy that I don't really care for.
That's hilarious.
I could have been Jordan.
Second coming of GOAT. We do have a lot to get into though.
Yes.
We have we have a lot. So we missed a lot of the MLB. So we're gonna just quickly get into that. Carlos Correa signs with the Twins for 3 years and $105.3 million with an opt-out after the second season.
Does not matter in the slightest because the Minnesota Twins will forever be owned by the New York Yankees. No matter what happens, they will always lose in the postseason. They can try all they want to get better. It's not going to work. I do commend them on kind of going all in and just splurging with free agents, though.
Yeah. I love the city of Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis.
You were there recently, right?
I was, and it's amazing. It doesn't even feel like a city. It's great.
Did you get a chance to see Target Field by chance where the Twins play? Okay. What did you think of it? Because I know it's really cool and how it's built into the surrounding buildings.
Yeah, it's so pretty dope.
it feels like an indoor stadium, but it's
Mhm.
outdoors.
Yeah. And it's a US Bank Stadium, which is absolutely massive and beautiful and just makes a statement when you're even on the highway. You can see it. Like, it's crazy.
You can see from skies too. If you fly out of Minneapolis, you
Oh,
can see
yeah.
all of them.
We did.
The last time I flew out of Minneapolis at night, oh my God, you could see every stadium
At night.
at night. What else we got in baseball free agency?
So
Kylie?
we got my favorite signings. We got Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber signing to Philadelphia. When I did, so the Schwarber signing happened pretty close to after we finished this podcast. And then like last week at 11 o'clock at night, I was going downstairs to play some games with the homies, and all of a sudden a notification on my phone says Castellanos to the Phillies, and I was like, huh?
And there's a home run into left field.
His first home run in spring training was a deep drive into left field.
And it was during the broadcasters were
That was
talking
his
about
first hit.
Okay, it was first hit. They were talking about a DUI, right?
They were apologizing for a DUI, and then he had his first hit.
This man somehow has the ability to do great things on a baseball mound, or well, at bat, while announcers are completely distracted by controversy. Whether it is they said
So
something
funny.
you should, whether it's them saying something that ruins their career,
Yep.
or have a DUI. Nick Castellanos, you got to be careful. If you mess up in the future, you got to be looking around like, Castellanos isn't around here, right? I can apologize.
I can apologize, right? Yeah.
I can apologize. Come up to sub. I'm so sorry about what happened last night. I didn't mean for it to be awkward. Damn it,
there's
Castellanos.
a deep dive into left field, and that's a home run. It'll be a 4-0 ball game.
Damn it.
The Castellanos signing is 5 years, around 100 million.
Okay.
And the Schwarb signing is 4 years, around 79 million. I'm pretty sure.
So Philly's really going to try and push for the playoffs this year.
The
Obviously,
first playoff appearance since 2011.
Yeah, they're really desperate at this point, but I don't blame them. I mean,
when you have the MVP saying after the Schwarber signing, he was like, "I hope we do more." And it was funny because during the press conference, Dave Dombrowski, the president of baseball operations, was like, he is just the guy or the owner, John Middleton, said he's just the guy to go over the salary cap for. And I was just thinking, so you mean Bryce Harper vocalized what he wanted, went public with it, so you had to go over the cap or else Philadelphia will riot.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. As a Yankees fan, Boston gets Trevor Story.
Yep. Let's talk about the other Yankees news. I'd rather not talk about that team up north.
You got Anthony Rizzo re-signing with the Yankees.
That's all I'm gonna say.
On a 2-year, $32 million deal.
That's right.
You got Albert Pujols going to the Cardinals. Woo! On a
He's returning to the Cardinals, right?
Huh?
He's returning to the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I still can't believe he hasn't retired yet. I keep thinking he's going to retire.
No one can. I know.
Oh my God.
You have Chris Bryant going to the Rockies for 7 years, $182 million.
What?
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. Because
I thought the Rockies were tanking.
Well, but also they traded away Nolan Arenado and
I thought they were tanking.
$51 million of his salary still. And
I thought they were tanking.
Right. And then you pay Chris Bryant all this, like, it makes no sense, but that's fine because that's a massive overpay. And
I have no idea what they're trying to do.
Yeah, we got 2 players for less than his contract, so I'll take it. You got Jorge Soler to the Marlins for 3 years, $36 million.
Okay.
Years 2 and 3 both have opt-outs.
That's your defending World Series MVP, Jorge Soler. That's a good signing. I like that. It's going to be weird being on a division rival, though.
Yeah. You got the Dodgers continuing to purchase championships with getting Freddie Freeman.
They won the Freddie Freeman sweepstakes, those bastards.
6 years, $162 million. I actually had to unfollow Bob Nightingale on Twitter because he would nonstop tweet about Freddie Freeman.
Everybody wanted to know where he's going. You know what? You know what the funny thing is? The Dodgers can sign Freddie Freeman and all these big free agents every year. They're still not gonna do anything. It's the Dodgers. I know I'm sounding like Stephen A. Smith right now, but it's the truth. It's the Dodgers. They have all this star power. How many World Series have they had in the last decade because of it? One. And it's a Mickey Mouse championship because it came in COVID. That doesn't count.
It does count. You know why it counts?
It doesn't count.
It does count.
The Rays were going to win that series had the Rays manager not been an idiot and pulled their pitcher while he was pitching a massive game because he let up one hit. That's not going to – that's the whole thing. I'm still salty about that.
It's still not a Mickey Mouse. It's just stupid management.
2020 championships don't count.
It's Doc Rivers level management. You got the longtime Dodgers closer Kenley Jansen going to Atlanta for 1 year, $16 million.
Okay.
I don't like it because he's on the Braves now.
You have to start hating him now.
Already done. Already done. You have the Japanese phenom Saya Suzuki going to the Cubs for a massive 5-year, $85 million deal. It is the highest number for a Japanese position player coming to Major League Baseball and the second largest behind Masahiro Tanaka's $155 million contract with the Yankees. That is a very big signing for a team that traded away their franchise players the year before.
You know what they're trying to do, right? They're gambling that he's going to be the next Ichiro.
Yep, exactly. And that's a massive contract for someone that hasn't played in the MLB yet.
It's the Ichiro effect. Japanese players are so good that Ichiro's what there's in the Seattle Mariners documentary that Secret Base did. John Boyce said that there are 4 players in the history of baseball that have completely changed the game when he showed up. Babe Ruth, because he got rid of the dead ball era. Ricky Henderson, because he brought stealing bases back. Barry Bonds, because Barry Bonds, steroid era, just power hitting. And then Ichiro, who proved that baseball can be really exciting. Really, really exciting.
Yeah, Ichiro is great. And then finally, the last one I can remember is breaking my heart. We have Andrew McCutchen going to the Brewers for 1 year, $8.5 million. I hate it.
My whole point about the Ichiro thing was like, that's what everyone is gambling that the next Ichiro is going to come out of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we all know the next Ichiro has already come out of Japan. His name is Shohei Ohtani. But regardless, continue.
He's going to get a massive payday soon. But yeah, McCutchen signs with the Brewers, $8.5 million on a year. I was hoping we would re-sign him, just for a cheap deal for a locker room presence and just like a depth. But hate to see him go, but I wish him nothing but success.
That is true.
Legend in both sides of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. What trades did we have?
We have 3 massive trades.
Okay.
We have Matt Chapman from the A's going to the Blue Jays, and he immediately signs a 2-year, $25 million extension. The A's get back Gunnar Hoglund, the best of the bunch, and then they get shortstop Kevin Smith, left-handed starter Zach Logg, and left-handed reliever Kirby Snead. All are major league ready. So they got prospects, but they're major league ready prospects.
Okay.
And then you got Josh Donaldson, Isaiah
Kiner Falafa.
Yeah. And catcher Ben
Rortvet
to the Yankees from the Twins. And the Twins get Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela. Now, the Gary
Gio Urshela wasn't amazing, but he was still a solid member of the team. But we're gonna miss that.
He's not a good catcher.
He can be, though. How dare you speak ill of a Yankee?
Look, I like the Yankees, but I've seen so many video breakdowns of Gary Sanchez, and he's just not a good catcher.
That's just like your opinion, man. That's fine. He's not the best. He's not the best catcher, but he was a fan favorite in New York. New Yorkers really loved Gary Sanchez, even if we were like, "You're killing me, Gary."
Yeah.
So,
but it leaves room for Kyle Higashioka, who's pretty darn good. So,
yeah, I'll take it.
They had a very boring offseason.
Oh, the Yankees?
Yeah, for a team that was supposed to really compete and like get players to continue doing what the Yankees do, and they just didn't do anything.
I think the Yankees have kind of come to the realization that every year we kind of do stuff, we kind of just go all out. But I think the Yankees have finally realized that maybe if we slow down and just let this core develop a bit, see what happens. That's my best guess of why they were just like, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah,
Or they could be out of cap room. There's
it's
always that.
true. Yeah,
There's always that.
yeah. Um, the cap doesn't exist in MLB though.
Oh, true, it doesn't.
um,
I was thinking of something else then. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
the luxury.
never
tax.
mind.
The luxury
Luxury
tax.
tax. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
So then finally we have Matt Olson going to the Atlanta Braves, completely disrespecting Freddie Freeman, which is funny to me. The A's get back a freaking haul. First of all, Matt Olson immediately signs an 8-year, $168 million contract extension. So he's there for the foreseeable future. The Athletics get two highly regarded prospects and catcher, Shea, I don't know how to say the last name.
Shea Langoliers.
Yeah, probably. And outfielder Christian Patch. In addition, they get right-handed pitcher Ryan Cusick, who is last year's first-round draft selection, and Joey Estes. They are both right-handed pitchers.
Okay.
So they traded a pretty big prospect.
So the A's are clearly cleaning house and trying to start a rebuild, it looks like.
Yeah, but they're not doing too bad.
Not bad at all. So hey, let me ask the questions here. I'm asking the questions here. Who would you say won free agency?
Either the Phillies, solely because they went over the luxury tax for the first time ever. Or maybe the Blue Jays?
I would say the Twins, just because they brought in so much star power. I mean,
yeah.
My whole thing is like, because I'm kind of biased because as a Yankees fan, you got Gary and Gio, who are both good players, but you also got Carlos Correa. I mean, the Twins are. I know the Twins are probably going to fall in the playoffs again because they're kind of cursed in that regard. But they really are trying to make an impact here. They're really trying to go all out. So I respect it. I'd say they won at first. I also say the Phillies did win too, because my goodness, those are great signings.
Yeah, I love it. I already bought my Castellanos jersey.
Now, who would you say lost?
Yankees, by far.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. Or maybe like the Padres. I don't think the Padres did anything.
Yeah, but they didn't really have any expectation to. Nobody was really linked to them. Every player is always linked to the Yankees, and the Yankees didn't do anything other than re-sign Rizzo, which is a big. Getting Rizzo is definitely a big re-sign, and getting Matt Olson's also big, but still.
It sucks. All right, what other baseball news do we got?
Well, the Blue Jays, a thing to note about this coming season, as of right now, is the Blue Jays have a massive home field advantage.
Why is that?
Because you have to be vaccinated in order to play in Canada.
Right.
And so that leaves the Yankees with questions. That leaves me. I don't know who of the Phillies players are unvaccinated. I'm pretty sure Nebel is unvaccinated. But I don't know our situation, but it's a huge, no matter your side on the situation, it's a huge advantage because if you're unvaccinated, you can't play. And
so what you're saying is that the Blue Jays might sneak into the playoffs just because of that?
They already might not even sneak into the playoffs because of how much power they have at all pitching, fielding, and batting.
Oh, right, yeah. That is a concerning advantage they have, especially for the Yankees, because it's really concerning how few players on our team are vaccinated. You'd think at this point people would be smart enough to just get over with, or even if you're not even at this point in the pandemic, if you're not on board with it, you'd still, try and get vaccinated at this point just because,
that's what Trevor Story did.
Yeah. At this point, it's like, You can't do basic stuff without a vaccine. Might as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. And I mean, but there's a new rule. It's the Shohei rule. Pitchers can be designated hitters once they've been relieved from the mound.
I like it.
Which is huge for the Angels because obviously Shohei Ohtani. But what you would have to do if you want to keep him in, you would have to take out if you were playing a National League team, you would have to take out an outfielder because he can't do infield. So you have to take out one of the outfielders and put him in. But now it completely changes everything and makes everything it really helps the Angels specifically.
Yeah, that rule kind of just only helps the Angels because are there any other pitchers that can hit as well as Shohei Ohtani in the league?
Well, no pitcher can hit as well as Shohei, but there are pitchers who can hit. I think DeGrom can hit. I think Zach Wheeler has had a couple hits.
I don't think the Mets would want to risk doing that though, because Jacob DeGrom is that's not a guy you'd want to be hitting regularly.
Yeah, absolutely not. But I'm saying it's literally it's called the Shohei rule because he's the only player that can do this. I mean,
he's literally changing the rules of baseball. He's going on the hall with Babe Ruth, Ricky Henderson, Ichiro, and Barry Bonds.
But it's crazy because back in Babe Ruth's time, the pitching was not as strong in the sense of the speed, obviously. But when you think about it like that, how much power Babe Ruth had to have in order to knock those balls out the park.
Yeah.
Because if the ball isn't going fast enough, you got to put some power behind it to get it to go.
Babe Ruth is not like an athletic guy. No. Babe Ruth was tough. With all due respect to Babe Ruth and Yankees Bambino. And Red Sox fans, with all due respect to the Bambino, may he rest in peace. I'm wrong. My man was a fat ass. That's one of the things I love about baseball is that you can have guys like Bartolo Colon and Prince Fielder, just these massive dudes, big old beer gut, big old dad bods of the world unite, who can hit a baseball so hard that it flies out of a park, and if it strikes let's say a small child, it could kill them. There is nobody that baseball is one of the few sports where you can have dudes that look completely unathletic. And I'm not saying big guys can look unathletic. Big guys in the NFL are some of the most athletic looking dudes, even if they're they're huge. Mm-hmm. Baseball is one where you could have guys like Bartolo Colon who have massive. Dude,
who run a 20-minute 40-yard dash.
Yeah. You
get the point though.
Yeah. Just for example, so I call baseball games for a living as part of my job. And we had a team come in who had a bunch of players from overseas, and one of them was the pitcher they had from Switzerland. And this dude is huge. He is huge. One of our sister schools, who their first baseman is this massive dude. Everyone calls him Gordo because he's massive. These guys were playing us on the first game of a 2-game series on a Tuesday night, and this big old first baseman smacked one out of the park, and me and the entire guys up in the press box are losing our minds. I'm trying my hardest not to make fat jokes in the mic because, that's very unprofessional, but at the same time, he hits it. It's like, oh, the big guy got one. I mean, and he hits that one deep into left field, and it's out of here.
We all love when big guys can hit.
I love big guys.
Yeah. One thing that happened right before we started recording is Cleveland Guardians front office and Jose Ramirez, his camp, have exchanged proposals on a potential contract extension. So that'll definitely be something to watch out for in the next couple of weeks, couple of days.
We might be talking about that next week. It's so weird having to say Cleveland Guardians, isn't it?
I know.
It's so weird. We're so used to saying,
Cleveland. But I mean, it's better than not having a name at all. The Cleveland baseball team, But
could be worse, yeah.
But as a fan of theirs, I wouldn't care about the name change. That's whatever. But changing the logo, changing the C of the logo, would make me so mad.
I like the new logo.
I do too, but it's such a clear money grab. the current C was fine. I understand it represents a new era and everything, but it would just irritate me because if you're gonna do it, add like the new logo onto the hat or something instead of just a letter.
Okay. I don't know. I like the new logo. I think it's cool looking.
I do too, but I'm just saying, like, put it on the baseball. Like, you know how the players wear the hats on the field, obviously, and they have the logos. The Guardians have the C or the G, whatever. Whatever one it is. I don't remember. Instead of the actual Guardians logo, they should have the actual Guardians logo on it because it's not as clear of a money grab as changing the font is.
Fair enough. Switching topics. Basketball.
Yes.
We're getting down to it. We only got about 2 weeks left in the season before the playoffs start. Playoff seeding is going on, and there's a lot of drama involving one team in particular that every week we seem to talk about in some way because they are failing us. The Lakers are out of playoff contention. They have fallen out of the play-in tournament. They have currently sitting at the 11th seed. What is going on with this team? LeBron is scoring like 30 points a game, and the team is still losing by double digits.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team as discombobulated as the Lakers are.
Yeah. It's completely astounding. And I mean, it's fine with me. I'm totally fine with it. But it's just, it blows your mind with how atrocious this season has been for them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
go ahead.
It's not because they're missing Anthony Davis. That's not even a big part of it. Because if he was there, they would still not be as good as they should be.
I don't think Anthony Davis is going to help at all.
He wouldn't add much, if anything.
It's the whole situation is really just a case of this is what happens. It's a great experiment. What happens if we take a bunch of stars who, and I've said this before, whose chemistry doesn't align, doesn't match, and put them on the same team. And the result has been they're terrible. They cannot work together. You watch their games and it's hard to watch.
And it's just like, yes, a certain player is better than this player, but when you get them together, sometimes it just doesn't work.
I think the problem is that everyone on that team thinks they're the best person on the team. It's very obvious who the best player on that team is.
Yeah.
It's LeBron.
Yeah.
You know? But everyone on that team has such a big ego that they think they're the centerpiece. I mean, you knew when they were going to get Russell Westbrook, that was going to be a clash because Russell Westbrook has that ego where he thinks he's the best. He never was able to understand that he is not the best on the Lakers, you know? And I mean, they're just news just broke. They're going to agree to part ways this offseason.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy how
the
things
Lakers
turned out for him.
The 2022 Lakers are going to be looked back on as one of the greatest failures in modern basketball history.
Absolutely.
A team studded with stars, with stars MVPs, finals MVPs, a team that should have completely dominated the world of basketball, but completely failed because none of them could work together.
Yeah. It blows, like I said this before, it blows my freaking mind at how bad it's been.
That's ridiculous. I mean, they're probably going to miss the playoffs. It's going to hurt, you know. It's just words cannot describe the frustration of watching the Lakers. And this is coming at somebody who I liked the Lakers growing up. The Lakers were my team growing up until I kind of switched over to the Heat as I got older. I was like, I got to support my Florida teams, you know, and the Heat of all these cool players I like.
Bandwagon.
Yes, I'm a bandwagon for the Heat. Be quiet. But at the end of the day, it's like it hurts watching this team that used to be a model of consistency and always being really good come out of their first really bad stretch in years, win a championship, and then immediately shit the bed.
Yeah.
Apologies for the harsh language, but I'm trying. That's the point. They shit the bed.
Oh. They really did.
What other basketball stuff we got? Let's move on from something like the Lakers. Go ahead.
Doc Rivers continues to be the ceiling for the Sixers. He continuously blows leads. Last night or Tuesday night, when you're watching tomorrow, blew a 14-point lead against the Bucks. He didn't start Embiid or Harden in the fourth quarter.
Why?
When Giannis was on the court, Embiid was not always there.
That's annoying.
He is a bottom 5 coach.
That's really annoying.
And we are as far as we are we are as high as we are in the standings in spite of him. Because he is not a good coach at all. I love him as a person, terrible head coach.
I can agree with that. I mean, it's always kind of been that way with Doc Rivers.
Mhm.
You saw what happened with the Clippers about
Yeah.
the constant underachieving. If the Sixers manage to win the finals this year, which I still think they can,
Mhm.
it'll be in spite of Doc Rivers.
Absolutely.
In spite of Doc Rivers.
And it's kind of annoying because he's going to keep his job if we win.
Yep.
But everybody's just
you almost kind of wish that they lose. No offense.
I saw a thing on Twitter that said like losing in the first round would kill. Knowing losing in the first round would kill me, but Doc Rivers would also be fired on the spot. You know, kind of like a Brett Brown situation 2 years ago. I don't know. It's just
Might as well.
Yeah. How do you blow leads that often? How is that
Doc
humanly
Rivers?
possible? Yeah, like
Be
how
Doc
do
Rivers?
you see what the other team is doing coming back and just wait to the last possible second to put your bench in, to put your starters back in, and you still lose? Like, I could go on about this. But the Eastern Conference is very wide open.
Yeah, thanks to your guys'
Coach.
Thanks to your guys' failures, the Eastern Conference is blown wide open. And here's my favorite part of the show where we talk about the standings. So let's begin. In the East, the battle for first place has come down to 4 teams. With actually not even 4. 7 teams basically have a chance at the top seed. I've never seen this. Miami currently holds it now. Miami has already clinched their division title, so the Heat will be in the playoffs. That's good. They're only half a game ahead of Milwaukee. The defending champs are right there. Boston has moved into first in the Atlantic. They're a game behind. The Sixers are a game and a half behind. So all 4 of those teams are still going to be fighting really hard for that top seed. Chicago is 4 games behind, but there's still enough time left for them to try and squeeze in there. Toronto is 4.5 games behind, and Cleveland is 5.5 games behind. Those 7 teams all have a chance
Theoretically
getting that top seed. The teams who don't have a chance of getting a top seed, but pretty much have a playoff spot locked up: Brooklyn, Charlotte, and Atlanta. Brooklyn has got a lot of help because New York just ruled that players who haven't been vaccinated can play at home events, which opens the door for Kyrie to return. And we've learned nothing as a society because humans are terrible. Charlotte and Atlanta, despite being pretty mediocre, are going to squeeze into the playoffs because everybody else is out of it. The Knicks are 14 games behind, not a chance. Wizards are 15.5 games behind, not a chance. Pacers, Pistons, and Magic have all been eliminated. Good news is Pistons and Magic do have 20 wins now each. Meanwhile, out in the West, Phoenix has clinched home court advantage for the entire playoffs. At 61-14, the Suns are the number 1 seed, have clinched the number 1 seed. Memphis has clinched a playoff spot, so they are in as well. Golden State is pretty much everyone else is set in stone for the West. Golden State is in. Dallas, Utah, and Denver, those are your next 2 seeds. In the play-in tournament currently is Minnesota, the Clippers, the Pelicans, and the Spurs. Lakers and Spurs are tied for that last spot, but the Spurs have the tiebreaker. Lakers are currently out. And just to show you how dominant the Suns are, last place, 10th seed Spurs are 30 games behind. That was ridiculous how off balance the West is. Portland, pretty much out of it. Sacramento, pretty much out of it. Oklahoma and Houston have been eliminated. So if the playoffs were to start today, your matchups in the play-in tournament would be Cleveland versus Brooklyn, and Charlotte versus Atlanta. And for the West, it would be Minnesota versus Los Angeles, and New Orleans versus San Antonio. What do we think? What do we think?
I want to face Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs. I want Atlanta so bad.
Well, I think everybody wants Atlanta because everybody hates Trae Young.
Yeah, but
this generation's everybody hates Chris. And speaking of which, yeah, that was a real slap in the face, wasn't it? But you know, man, you really showed me your willpower that night. But sorry, bad, really bad Oscar joke. Shout out Chris Rock for taking it like a champ.
Yeah, seriously. One more thing, Embiid is gonna get screwed out of yet another MVP.
Why though?
I literally have no idea. As soon as they saw that Embiid's actually better than Jokic, they changed everything. Because at first, last year, they were like, no, 2 centers can't be first team. And now, since Embiid's going to get first team, they're like, oh, no, 2 centers can't get first team, so we can give it to Jokic. Like, the league is just obsessed with Jokic. This dude isn't even funny, and people think he's funny. I cannot stand Jokic. He should not be MVP.
Well, his brothers are probably holding league officials hostage and their families, so
it's just like last year it was a perfect attendance award. Fine. But this year Embiid has played most of the games. Very damn near 100% of the games. And he's played better. And he's a higher seed. Weird. So there's literally nothing they have to give Jokic above Embiid. And it's just, he's going to get screwed out of it yet again.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait until next year. Third time's the charm. But you're right. It is unfortunate because what we're seeing here is, I guess the league is playing favorites with Jokic.
Absolutely.
Everything you said is right. I agree with it. Like Embiid 100% should be the MVP this year. I mean, nobody has done more individually for their team. That with the whole Ben Simmons situation and the fact that Embiid basically had to step up and lead the Sixers himself.
Yeah.
Just give it to him.
Please.
But, they won't. Okay.
We're not going to win the finals this year, please.
Enough basketball. You know what, though? If they don't give it to him, they'll probably win the finals. It's a compromise. Jokic gets MVP. You guys get to crush the Nuggets in the finals. Would you take it, Kylee? Would you take it?
Yeah, absolutely. 110%.
All right. Let's talk about hand egg. Football time.
So, one thing that is interesting, they did change the overtime rule.
That's not interesting. That's amazing. It's weird in how they did it, but it's amazing.
Yeah. It's each team gets possession, but only in the playoffs.
It's a compromise, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, so regular overtime is just going to continue to exist in the in regular season.
Which is fine.
I guess it's okay. I like ties occasionally because they're weird and they make the standings weird and they make things complicated and stat heads love them. But yeah, it's a weird situation. It's I think what we're seeing here is that I'm glad that they did it. I did have a guy in one of my fantasy football group chats talk about how this could probably damage. This is damaging because it suddenly defense doesn't matter anymore. It's like, if you don't have a good defense, it doesn't matter. I think it's still going to help defenses. I think it's now both teams get a chance to score, so your defense better be well rested. Your defense better be ready.
Yeah, it literally gives both offenses and defenses to prove their worth.
Yeah. I will say they did need to change it because there were flaws in just allowing the system they had was too complicated. If we get a field goal, they get the ball back. But if we score a touchdown, they don't. It diminishes the role of a field goal, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's
One thing that does make me sad is Malcolm Jenkins announced his retirement right before we started recording too. As an Eagles fan, best free agent signing, one of the best in our history.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything, 27, especially for 52.
That's going to be Malcolm Jenkins is here's a question. Do you think he's Hall of Fame worthy?
Bias, so I'm not going to comment.
Makes sense. Let's talk about some offseason trades and signings and free agency. There was a lot that we've missed over the last 2 weeks.
So much.
I guess rapid fire. Let's hear our opinions. So we start with Devontae Adams to Vegas. Go.
Insane.
Oh my gosh. I thought he'd stick around with wherever Rodgers went, but apparently, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That's going to be interesting. I think Derek Carr is going to have a lot of fun next year throwing to him.
And he immediately signs a $30 million a year contract extension for what, 4 years?
Damn. Yeah. Damn. That's a lot. Deshaun Watson to Cleveland.
There we go. Caught me off guard.
I did not see that one coming. We were talking about possibly Deshaun Watson to Atlanta or Deshaun Watson to Indianapolis last time. Nope. Deshaun Watson to Cleveland to the Browns. Yeah. And they straight up were like, you know what? We're tired of Baker. Let's bring in controversy.
They screwed over Baker.
They really did. I hope Baker goes to what's a team in that division that needs a quarterback? Oh, there's nobody. Everyone has a quarterback set up. It's a team that the Browns don't like. The Ravens. I hope Baker goes to the Ravens as a backup. Lamar gets hurt. Baker gets the start, leads them to the playoffs, and they face off against the Browns. And he gets his revenge.
You don't want anybody to get hurt.
I don't want anyone to get hurt, but we all can dream. I'm just saying. Okay, fine. Lamar doesn't get hurt, but he gets demoted to running back because Harbaugh finally decides you are a running back and not a. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Come on. A man can dream. A man can dream, Kylee.
There's only one running back in the quarterback position, and he is in Philadelphia.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Now the punishment for all the civil suits going on for Deshaun Watson is unknown as of right now. So whether or not he'll actually get to play for Cleveland, we don't know. Regardless, though, the Browns clearly look like they've moved on from Baker. They're going to try and go a different direction. That's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I
want to see him go to San Francisco.
Oh, Baker in San Francisco actually might be good because he might be able to work with that system. Whatever happens, I just hope that he gets a chance to get revenge at some point this season.
Right?
Yeah.
Another QB move.
Matt Ryan to Indianapolis.
Matt Ryan to Indianapolis.
So this is the what is this? The 6th year with a different starting quarterback for the Colts? Because let's just it's Matt Ryan this year. That Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, Andrew Luck, Scott Tolzien. That's 6 straight years of a different starting quarterback. Yeah. God, I remember that Scott Tolzien. I remember.
I couldn't remember his name, but I knew there was the 6th one.
My roommate sophomore year was a massive Colts fan. Opening day, we're getting all hyped up. Colts Rams because we're thinking, oh, it's the Rams. They just moved to Los Angeles. They're terrible. They were 4-12 last year. And he comes in all mad. I'm like, what's up? He's like, our starting quarterback is Scott Tolzien. Who's Scott Tolzien? We watch the game and it's 49-6.
Oh my God.
It was bad. Scott Tolzien was horrible.
Jesus. You got Marcus Mariota to Atlanta, and that's because Matt Ryan's gone.
So your plays Matt Ryan with
Mariota.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Falcons are gonna are accepting the suck, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Unless they get Baker.
Baker and Marcus on the same team. That could actually be deadly because the Raiders experimented with having Marcus as like a run option quarterback last year.
Mm-hmm.
That could be dangerous. That could be deadly. I actually would not be opposed to see. Wait, they're in my division. No. Doesn't matter. We're still gonna murder him with Tom Brady, but no.
Needs to retire.
I do really like the quarterback carousel we've seen this offseason. It's been a lot of fun to track. It's going to be so weird looking at all these teams with new places now. new
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
it crushes me that Wentz on the Commanders and Matt Ryan took number 2, but
It happens.
it's a business,
It is.
and I gotta save my shit talking for later.
What else do we got for football?
We got Ravens head coach John Harbaugh getting a 3-year extension.
Okay. I will say that he does need to show improvement in game calling and getting the Ravens to actually, well, it didn't help that the team was so injured last year, but
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like, okay, now we got to start seeing results. Like,
Yeah.
we can't be wasting these great seasons from Lamar Jackson and the core. So come on, Harbaugh, show us what you got.
and you got Jabril Peppers going to New England on a 1-year deal,
Interesting. Be interested to see how that works out.
leaving the Giants. I like it.
I'm not opposed to it.
And then Andy Dalton to the Saints on a 1-year deal.
I saw that. So who's the starting quarterback for this? The Saints are sticking with Jameis, right?
Probably.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that if Jameis goes down, we have cannon fodder to deal with as his backup. Cam Newton is somehow drawing interest from multiple teams.
Don't know how.
That is so weird. He's so washed. It's so bad.
I want him to succeed, but
I don't. But maybe. Okay. You know what? I hated Cam Newton on that one Panthers team that went to the Super Bowl, and I still think he is arrogant, and I don't like him.
That's fair. The 2024 NFL draft is going to be in Detroit, and so is Hard Knocks.
I am really excited. Hard Knocks, just being in that locker room with Dan Campbell. Have you seen Dan Campbell's locker room speeches?
Mhm.
That man is so inspirational. He makes me want to go out and actually fix my life. Like, I listen to his talk, and I'm like, yeah, you damn right. I'm going to apply for that job that I don't have qualifications for. I don't care. They're going to say, I am going to ask that pretty girl out. I'll do it for you, Dan. I'm going to run through that wall right now. I love Dan Campbell. He is so inspirational. Yeah, the Lions were absolutely trash last year, but they played so hard every single game. They never got their asses whooped except by the Eagles that one game. That was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so bizarre. But yeah.
Christian Kirk signs a 4-year, I think, $84 million deal with the Jaguars and completely screws up the wide receiver market. Completely screws it up.
Nice. I know the Jags so far have been winning this offseason, but that's gonna
ridiculous overpay.
Why? He's not worth $84 million.
No, he's not.
He's not.
And then you get DJ Chark to the Lions on a 1-year deal. I think it was a big contract too. I don't remember.
That's also not worth as much as they paid him. I forgot how much it was, but it's like these guys aren't that good. You know who is good and does deserve that kind of money? Tyreek Hill, who's been signed to Miami. And my mom is crying, and that's why I have to wear the Chiefs jersey today, because we have to shed a tear for the Chiefs team that should have won more than one Super Bowl.
He said that Tua was the most accurate quarterback in the NFL.
What? No. In what universe? Has he not watched game film?
Have you not seen Aaron Rodgers throw any passes? You go from the best quarterback in the NFL to a bottom 5 quarterback.
I don't know.
What? What?
I can't explain it, and I don't want to try and explain it because it hurts my brain. But I guess Tyreek Hill has CTE because that's the only way. That's the only way that he could think that about Tua. Right. No offense to Tua. It's just, bro, you ain't that good. You really aren't.
Yeah, Kaiser White to Philadelphia.
I didn't see that one. That's
recent, very recent. And I love it. Linebacker from the Chargers.
Okay. Cool.
It's a great signing. And then between the Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill trades this past month, 7 total first-round picks were traded in the NFL.
That is incredible.
Including, Wentz and probably Matt Ryan. So
Yeah, Matt Ryan's a first round pick too.
And they're mostly quarterbacks, which is the funny thing.
And that's the most first round picks traded in a single month of the common draft era, right?
Yep.
It's like NFL free agency has been a ride this year. That's insane.
It's been great.
All these moves have been so crazy. The league's gonna look so weird next year with all of these different teams. And we do have good news. It is 1 month until the NFL draft.
Yes. So we're gonna break down who we got for the picks. So the most picks are the Chiefs and the Jaguars at 12.
I trust the Chiefs to make good decisions. I don't know about the Jaguars, but they've made enough offseason moves that maybe this will help them. Yeah. It all depends on who they take with the first pick to shore up that defense.
Yeah. And then the fewest picks are the Dolphins and the Raiders with 5.
I think the Raiders are set, but I don't know about the Dolphins.
And then you got the most top 50 pick, or they got the most first round picks, which is the Eagles with 3.
Which Howie Roseman will waste all of them.
I don't think we're going to keep all of them.
Okay.
And then you got the most top 50 picks with the Jets at 4.
That will be fun to watch.
And then the fewest top 100 picks with the Rams, which have 0. And they said F them picks.
Rams are like, picks? Who needs picks? We won a Super Bowl. That's going to bite them in the butt. Trust me. That's going to bite them in the ass.
Who needs picks when you have rings?
Yeah. Who needs picks when you have massive hole in our offensive line left by the retirement of Andrew Whitworth? Maybe we should address that.
Right.
They'll find somebody. Yeah, this opens a question. Yeah.
Two questions and we wrap up football. Where does Baker go and where does Jimmy G go? Because Baker's not staying.
I'm going to say that Baker goes to San Francisco and that Jimmy G goes to Carolina. Just going to randomly put it out there because it's been so crazy. I'm just going to randomly say this. Baker goes to San Francisco, clicks with Shanahan's system, and, helps train Trey Lance more. Jimmy G goes to Carolina and ends his career as a forgotten backup.
Would he be a backup, though?
No, he'd start, but he eventually transitioned to backup because the Panthers are 100% drafting a quarterback this year in the draft.
Absolutely. I'm thinking Baker goes to, I'm going to say San Fran too, because I brought it up in the first place. And
Go ahead.
And then Jimmy G to somewhere that could use a backup.
Wait, no. Jimmy G to Seattle.
I like it.
Jimmy G goes to Seattle and helps lead the Seahawks rebuild that destroys San Francisco and gets his revenge. Baker still goes to San Francisco to replace him and does poorly, gets replaced by Trey Lance, and Baker ends his career as a forgotten backup, unfortunately. Someone has to be sacrificed for this ideal fantasy of mine to work, and it has to be Baker. Sorry. Should have made less commercials.
And then you were focused on the NHL this week, so give us a rundown on that.
So a lot happened the last 2 weeks in the NHL. I first want a big shout out to YouTuber Urinating Tree, whose trade deadline video helped me with a lot of this prep work because he covered everything. So I basically was able to get trade stuff for every team. Before we talk about that, really quickly, we got to address this. Tragically, this past week, longtime Ottawa Senators owner Eugene Melnyk passed away. Our thoughts and prayers go to his family and friends. Yes. His legacy in Ottawa is complicated. While he did help the Senators make a couple really deep playoff runs, his legacy forever will be kind of screwing over the city of Ottawa, moving the stadium, moving the team to the suburbs well away from the city, and just really mishandling the Senators the last couple of years to the point where they're kind of laughable. So his legacy is going to be ridiculously complicated. That's the best way I can say this. But the man himself, I mean, we're not going to speak ill of the dead, just to say that his legacy is complicated and we can talk about it at another time. But for now, thoughts and prayers to his family. Always tragic when a member of the hockey community passes away. So,
yeah.
Moving on. Trouble for the Florida Panthers. Aaron Eklund is out for the season with an ankle injury. But don't worry. Florida did find a replacement. We'll talk about that in a second. Moving on. Time for the trade deadline. I'm going to go rapid fire here, Kylie. If you hear anything you like, let's talk about it. There's basically going to be a recap of each team, what each team did during the trade deadline, and also like where they stand. So let's go. Tampa reinforced their depth for an attempt at a three-peat. They brought in Brandon Hagel and Nick Paul. Good picks, good depth pieces. I like it. Panthers added Ben Sherratt and Robert Haig to help back up after the Eklund injury. They also won the Claude Giroux sweepstakes. Oh, boy, they got Claude Giroux.
Giroux.
I don't know why I keep calling him Giroux. Yeah, Giroux.
They
got
like
Claude Giroux. We all thought he was going to the Kings. We all thought he was going out west. But no, he sides with the Panthers.
He becomes a Florida man.
We can't have nice things. What are your thoughts on that as somebody from Philly?
I'm not a Flyers fan, but my entire family is.
What were their thoughts?
Not a fun time. Not a fun time.
So
Twitter going crazy. It's not a fun time. Not a fun time at all.
So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Florida has finally come to the senses like we need to finally do something for the first time in our existence since that random cup run we went on in 96, and they've gone all out. They're not the only ones.
Nope.
Toronto, they need goaltending because they just cut Peter Mrazek, and they ended up signing Mike Giordano, which he does not play goaltend. He's not a goalie. He's a defenseman. They didn't address their goaltending at all. What are you doing, Maple Leafs? What are you doing there? Bruins have reinforced their defense. They got Hampus Lindholm from Anaheim. Anaheim got rid of a lot of key players. The Hurricanes signed Max Domi. Pretty much that's all they did. The Rangers went all in. They got a bunch of signings. Justin Braun, Frank Petrano, Tyler Mott, Andrew Kropp. They went all in on getting as much depth pieces as they could because the Metropolitan is a bloodbath. You know, when we started this podcast, we were talking about hockey. It was the Pacific that was a bloodbath. Now it's the Metropolitan. Everyone in the Metropolitan is right on top of each other. Penguins needed some help to back up Evgeny Malkin, so they brought in Nathan Below. They also got their sweepstakes for Rickard Rakell. So now they're extremely dangerous, and I don't like it. Capitals have brought back some old school players in Johan Larsson and Marcus Johansson. So welcome back. Looks like they're going 2018 Cup run style with this. The Flyers, yikes. They lost Giroux. They signed Owen Tippett in the trade from Florida, but he's kind of obsolete. They're basically just cleaning house, and the only notable thing they did is they extended Rasmus Ristolainen. And my God.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
No one does.
As for the rest of the East, Red Wings got picks, Jake Wallman and Oskar Sundqvist, so not bad. Islanders, nothing. My God, what idiots. The Islanders did nothing.
Fine by me.
Yeah. The Blue Jackets just signed Aiden Rashuk. The Devils. They did nothing. The Devils did nothing. Montreal basically got rid of all their good players for Hall of Prospects. The long rebuild approaches. Rest easy, Canadians fans. It's going to be a tough one, but you're in good hands so far. Martin St. Louis has really turned the team around in terms of coaching. I have faith. Sabres did nothing. Senators just signed Travis Hamonic. Multiple question marks. On to the West. Avalanche solidified their defense by signing Josh Manson. They did have to give up a lot to get Arturi Lankinen, but they also added depth with Andrew Cogliano and Nico Sturm. So Avalanche looks like they're kind of content with what they're doing.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Wild have gone all in. They won the Marc-Andre Fleury sweepstakes. Let's go. They got good players. They know they only got a couple more years on Ryan Suter and Zach Parisi's contract, so they're going all in. They also added Jacob Middleton, and Tyson Yost. So Wild are like, this is the year that we finally do something for once. Blues have shored up their defense with Nick Leddy. I don't like that. Predators also shored up their defense with Jeremy Lawson. As you notice, there's a trend going on here of teams being like, my God, the Avalanche are scoring so many goals. We need to shore up our defenses.
Yeah.
Jets kind of did nothing or were kind of a mess. They signed Mason Appleton and Zach Sanford. Stars are keeping John Klingberg. They have way too many injuries. They brought in Scott Edgewood to fix the goaltending. They went Russian with Vladislav, whose last name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I have no clue what they're doing. They're just kind of doing whatever. Flames. They're playing up to their potential. They've added some depth pieces. They signed Tyler Toffoli and Cale Junkruk. The Golden Knights. Let's talk about the bullshit that was the Golden Knights. They tried to sign Evgeny Dodonov to fix cap issues. The NHL voided the trade due to an investigation because apparently they screwed it up big time.
Yeah. I heard about that. I didn't know what the situation was. I completely I didn't look into it. But I know it was an insane couple of days.
Yeah. So what happened was if I can find it. Hold on one second. Moments before the trade deadline on Monday, the Golden Knights attempted to send Evgeny Dodonov and a second-round pick to the Ducks in exchange for Ryan Kessler's contract to defenseman John Moore. League voided it because Dodonov was on a 10-team no-trade list, including Anaheim, and the NHL basically said, you can't do that, and voided the trade. Vegas was trying to squeeze around that, and now it's put them in a serious issue because the Golden Knights have $15 million in cap space currently, a long-term injured reserve between Mark Stone and Alex Martinez. They don't have a lot of money, and yet they were trying to make these big moves. You see what the problem is.
Of course.
The trade they were trying to do would have shed $3.375 million from Vegas's books. That's the kind of money that they are so desperate for cap space that they tried to go around the NHL. Vegas is completely, they're in trouble. They're probably still going to make the playoffs, but they're in trouble down the road. Finally, we're seeing the expansion. I know we talk about this a lot. The expansion team that somehow it still stays good despite all of their problems might actually be headed towards being an actual expansion team for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate to see it.
Rest of the West. Oilers, they solidified their death by signing Brassard and Kulov. The Kings, they lost the Giroux sweepstakes. They have major cap issues and injuries, so they just signed a bunch of minor leaguers. Canucks, they traded away pieces, nothing else. Ducks are in massive trouble. They just got picks and depth pieces. Not much to say there. The Sharks are also in trouble. They extended Thomas Hertl for 8 years because of the whole situation with Mr. Won't Get Vaccinated. Dude. The Coyotes. What are they doing? They sold off everything except Phil Kessel. They brought in Jack McBain, Nathan Smith, and a bunch of lower picks. That's it. And now they're stuck in a college stadium for 3 years.
They don't have fans anyway.
Yeah. And finally, the Kraken, they're building for the future. They signed Daniel Sprong and got some picks. That's about it. They kind of are content with, we're an expansion team. We're building our fan base. We'll be good eventually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all for hockey. The standings, I can find it real quick. Look as follows. So in the Atlantic, it's still a three-way battle between the Panthers, Lightning, and Maple Leafs. Bruins are pretty much solidified. So those 4 teams are pretty much headed to the playoffs. Red Wings, Sabres, Senators, Canadians. Don't even think about it. In the Metropolitan, Hurricanes, Rangers, Penguins, and Capitals are all on top of each other. Well, at least the Hurricanes, Rangers, and Penguins are. Capitals are they're back, but they're going to get in regardless. Those 4 teams are pretty much clinched. Blue Jackets are good, but they're out. Islanders, Devils, and Flyers. Congratulations, Devils. 24 wins now. You're above the Flyers in the standings. Good job. That's actually really good. In the West, Avalanche are just annihilating everybody, but the Wild are starting to catch up to them. It's getting tight. Predators, the battle for the last 2 playoff spots is down to the Predators, Blues, Stars, and Jets, but at the moment it looks like it's really just going to be the Predators and the Blues because the Stars and Jets are kind of doing men. You saw the trade deadline. They did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Blackhawks did absolutely nothing as well. I did not mention them in the trade deadline because they didn't do anything except get rid of Marc-Andre Fleury. And then
Which
the Coyotes,
shout out to them though, because they kept their promise to Fleury, and I respect it.
Yeah. Coyotes are bad. In the Pacific, Calgary is going crazy. Kings and Oilers are good. Golden Knights are falling. Canucks are closing in. Sharks, Ducks, and Kraken are basically out of it at this point. Yeah. And that'll do it. I
love hockey.
I do too. I can't believe I had to do all that research for it. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Who are our goobers of the week?
So our goobers of the week are the Browns. because you messed it up with Baker. Come on.
The way they've treated Baker. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The Athletics for just, being the Athletics. And then we got the Rockies for signing Chris Bryant for no reason.
Don't forget Rob Manfred.
And Rob Manfred, but baseball's back, so,
Yeah.
I'll be a little nicer.
And we actually have something new to talk about to close out, don't we?
Yes, I brought up this idea with you, and you seem to roll with it, so we're going to do a thing where I give you 3 interesting facts, and one of them is a lie. And you try to guess which one's the lie.
And I have to guess which one.
Yes.
Okay. What are my interesting facts?
All right, so the first one. Bulls and White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf continued to pay Michael Jordan his reported $4 million salary while he was experimenting with baseball.
Okay.
Number 2, Wilt Chamberlain did not win the MVP the year he scored 50.4 points a game and grabbed 22.9 rebounds per game.
It's ridiculous, but okay.
And the third one, Taco Fall owns a Mexican restaurant based in Boston with the name Tacos Tacos. Which one's the lie?
So I'm going to say number 1. I don't think that Jerry Reinsdorf would continue to pay Michael Jordan if he wasn't playing basketball for them. I don't think so. The Taco Fall one, this seems just goofy enough that it might be true. And I know damn well that Wilt Chamberlain got screwed over by the NBA and the MVP voting. So give me number 1 as the lie.
That's incorrect. Taco Fall does not have a restaurant named Tacos Tacos in Boston.
He should. That's such a goofy thing, though. You'd assume it to be true. That is obviously so really Jerry Reinsdorf was really paying Michael Jordan?
Only $4 million.
Oh, well, he was the White Sox owner too.
As well as the Bulls.
Oh, obviously that's true. I'm dumb.
So,
okay. Well,
let's see if we get it next week.
Yep.
All right, that concludes this week's episode of the Sportsgasm Podcast. If you liked what you heard, we hope you did. Tune in next week and maybe check out that support button to help us grow and improve. You can watch this whole thing and more on YouTube. And do not forget to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. They are all at Sportsgasm Pod. We will be asking you questions for future episodes and posting them on all the socials. We will see you guys next week.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate all of our interactions on social media. Keep watching sports, and for the love of God, go Tar Heels. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.